You're watching Good Day Austin on Fox 7.
According to the Chronicle of Higher Education's tracking, 33 bills in 19 states have proposed legislation that would ban colleges from having diversity, equity, and inclusion offices or staff. Bills would also ban mandatory diversity training, stop institutions from using diversity statements in hiring and promotion, and ban colleges from using race, sex, color, ethnicity, or national origin in admissions or employment. So the question here is, what is the true purpose of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and what's really its benefit? Joining us this morning to talk a little bit more about this is author Dr. Tana M. Her latest book, Working While Black, A Woman's Guide to Stop Being the Best Kept Secret, addresses some of the principles of DEI. Good morning, Dr. M. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Leslie. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit, what exactly is DEI? What is its purpose?
Diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging is designed to level the playing field as well as create equitable workplaces for marginalized communities. And those marginalized communities can be based on so many different social factors, whether it's race, gender, LGBTQ plus status, disability status, veteran status, the list goes on.
Yeah, what's the disadvantage of not having DEI practices in place?
Well, I think it's the main problem to think about is the next generation of the workforce. So when we think about Gen Y, Gen Z, and now Gen Alpha, who were born from 2010 up until 2025, they're the most socially, ethnically, and culturally diverse group to ever enter the workforce. So when those individuals enter the workforce and they don't see people who look like them, they don't see opportunities or there are barriers for their success based on any of those social categories or an intersecting of any of those categories, that's a problem. And if organizations as well as colleges are not thinking about this next generation or the next two generations, we're missing the mark.
Yeah, Dr. Sessions, some of our lawmakers here have cited reasons for removing DEI in Texas public schools, saying it's ineffective and it's ineffective and it excludes people. In fact, one senator noted some data that said there's only been a slight increase in African American, Latino, and Asian faculty members in the last decade. He also mentioned that the program has been, in his words, politically charged and really not a motive of protecting free speech. What are your professional thoughts on what his comments are, and how do you view DEI?
Well, one of the things I think is what he's mentioning is there's a pipeline problem for talent that are different minority groups. So whether it's Latino, whether it's Black, Asian American, Pacific Islander, there has been a pipeline problem for those types of candidates in those roles for decades. So yes, it will be slow process. And I tell my clients that all the time. It's truly a journey. It's not something that will happen overnight because we're having to fix issues that we never addressed from decades ago. And in regards to it being politicized, I agree. I think that there has been some fear factoring going on here. There's been a lack of education and understanding exactly what diversity, equity, inclusion is. More importantly, what belonging is. That's the key piece of it as well. And if we don't have that education, then we do have or tend to have a lack of a sense of fear of what we don't know and understand. Now, when it's performative, yes, of course, that can be harmful and exclusive. So we have to be much more intentional when we're doing this work.
Yeah, absolutely. Some important conversations to continue having. Author Dr. Tana M, again, later author of the latest book, Working While Black, A Woman's Guide to Stop Being the Best Kept Secret. We appreciate your time, Dr. M. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Leslie.